I am Sharon Crandall, and I am a personality manager. Understanding your personality traits can help you in all areas of life because your traits have a message in each one that inclines you to handle events from your own perspective. Today my video is about living with chronic pain. You can use your traits to help you better handle your pain, or you can use the other side of your traits and make it worse. As a personality manager, it is my job to help you direct your traits to work for you rather than against you. So this is what happened to me. Dr. Jordan Peterson had a short video answering a question from a listener who was wondering how to discipline himself so he could do more because he had a lot of pain. And Dr. Peterson's answer was right on. It was very good. After watching the video, I started to reflect on my own journey. I am 76 years old and have had chronic pain for 25 years. At that time, I became ill with what seemed to be a bad cold and a sore throat and so on, and I was pretty darn sick for a week. Usually I bounced back very quickly and was very surprised when I didn't. I just couldn't get my strength back. And within a week, I had come from walking a mile every few days and ballroom dancing a couple of times a week and doing a normal life. And all of a sudden, I couldn't even fold a batch of clothes without having to lie down. And I didn't know what was wrong, but I had a lot of pain and fatigue. Well, I kept thinking that I was just lazy, so I kept trying to make myself do things, and that didn't work. And so I looked around and tried to figure out what was wrong with me, and finally I discovered that I had fibromyalgia. I had to pretty much just give up my life. And I went to live with my sister, bless her heart, and I had 7 children, and we had a 2-bedroom apartment. And that's where we lived for a while until I could figure out what to do with my life. And so finally, when I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, I went to a support group for fibromyalgia. And I thought that's a really good idea. So I went there, and the first time it seemed pretty good because I could understand what everybody else was going through and what I was going through. But the second time I went through to the class, I just said to myself, oh no, this is not for me. These people were not looking for solutions, but they were looking for someone to sit on the pity pot with them. And all they were interested in was medical help of what they could do to cope with their pain, which that's not a bad idea, but if that's all you're doing, it's pretty depressing, and it was depressing. So after watching and listening to these people, the future seemed very bleak to me, and I didn't want to follow in their footsteps. To me, it seemed that there has to be a way to make things better. So after searching alternative solutions, I was able to lessen the pain and recover enough to do more activities. And I lived somewhat of a normal life. And then gradually the fibro pain lessened, but then I developed back problems. But I have to say that the advice that Dr. Peterson gave was excellent. I'm hoping that I can show that I have incorporated his advice into my own life. This is what I recommend if you have chronic pain. Step number 1, get a diagnosis. The first thing that you kind of need to know what you're doing and what you're working with. And at this time I did that, but the medical solutions at that time were not established very well, and so that avenue seemed impossible. Step number 2, be open to alternative solutions. There are many things out there to help people, and you have to sort through a lot of things that are not going to work. but you can find some things that will help you. So I was able to do that, and with Tylenol and other things, I was able to cope with the pain. All right, the next step is number 3, and it is get a good pain doctor. Because if you need medication, and I finally did, you need a good doctor. You need one that's liberal to a certain extent, but not too liberal and not too conservative, that won't give you enough medicine. But you need someone that will really help you with your dosage. So one thing that I noticed is when I went to the meetings, or the meeting, I noticed that almost all the people there had the trait of physical stamina and restlessness. And this meant that they tend to push until they drop. And so it's really easy for them to overdo. It's all of us that have that trait. We tend to ignore the signals of when we need rest or when we need to take care of ourselves. And a room was full of people like that, and as I understand it, a lot of people that have fibromyalgia have this problem. They're too over, like workaholics and so on. So that brought me to step number 4, which is focus on what you can do and refuse to feel guilty about the amount you are contributing. Because some days you're going to be able to do quite a bit, some days not. And this goes for many ailments that you might have. Unfortunately, you might say go, 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 but your body says no, 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 and you need to listen to it. And you're going to have people that are going to tell you that, well, if you just get up and do more, you're going to be okay, or if you do this or you do that or whatever it is, and you just have to be more active. Yeah, well, when you go in the kitchen and you can't even hull a batch of strawberries without putting you in bed, yeah, I don't know about that kind of advice. You know, people that don't have pain like this, they don't know. You don't have to take their advice. Just tell them thank you, but no thanks. And then you do what you know is the best thing to do. So number 5, celebrate every single victory, no matter how small. So if you can peel 3 potatoes and that's it, or if you can go to the store and get a cart and go around and get your stuff, no matter what people think of you. If you look, because the problem sometimes is a lot of times people have pain and nobody can tell that they have it. So then they make judgments. Well, that's too bad. That's their problem. And so celebrate everything that you do, and then like make a list of what you want to do and check it off, and not be upset if you don't make it. If you accomplish even 2 or 3 things in a day, you did good. Okay. All right, step number 6, do something that expresses your purpose or fulfills your need to make a difference. Now that's where I come in. I can help people to find their niche. I can help, because of all your traits, you have over 50 traits to choose from. So just because you have done one thing in the earlier part of your life doesn't mean that that's what you have to do the rest of your life. You have many talents. And I've never seen anybody that didn't have some options of different things that they could do. I mean, I would love to go dancing and be a dancer, and that's what I used to be. But guess what? That is not going to happen right now anyway. And so I do personality science, and I help people, and I write books, and I do all sorts of things. So I have goals, which is very important. So, step number 7, take the time every day to be thankful for everything you can think of. I don't care if it's soap and water. I don't care if it's like me. I'm really happy when I go to the bathroom at night and I don't trip over and fall down, okay? And I'm thankful for that, okay? So your brain knows what you can do and what your limits are, and what you can push yourself with too. So take your time, take that time to really be thankful for friends, family, anything that you have, because when you really think about all the people in the world, if we have friends and family and painkillers, we're doing pretty good. Step number 8, have a good cry once in a while. It's okay to cry. Tears are okay, because nobody that I know of can hold it together all the time. Everybody has troubles and everyone has problems. You know, life can be pretty crummy. It's okay to let it go once in a while. It doesn't mean that you're not thankful. It doesn't mean that you're a wuss. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It just means that you're human. So give yourself a time limit. 1 day, 1 hour, 30 minutes. Just not too long. Because you do not want to live your life that way. You just want to regroup. Okay. And then get going again. If you are lucky enough to have a good friend who will sympathize with you but not let you be a sad sack for too long, then rejoice. So for more information, go to my video on the overview of personality science. There are traits that help you to overcome pain and help you make it worse. And one trait is called tolerance. And tolerance is, it really is a trait that makes you procrastinate or inclines you to procrastinate. Well, when you're in pain, it's good to procrastinate, because you can say, okay, I'm gonna live with this pain. I'm gonna be just fine for 30 minutes or an hour or 3 hours or whatever, and I'm gonna focus on these other things. You'd be surprised that you can do that. You can put off the pain for a certain period of time. Now, if you're on the opposite end of that trait, you have to really work on it, because your inclination will be to get rid of the problem right now. And so this is a really good trait, but your brain knows how to activate that trait on the positive side. So if you just say, okay, I need tolerance now, and so I'm going to just put off the pain for a certain period of time. So that's kind of what personality science is. It's learning how to work with your traits and really to make your life better. I hope that you had a good day, and always know that my theme is, you know what, it doesn't matter what's happening in your life, you can always make it better. Thank you.